Welcome, seekers of wisdom. Throughout history, societies have faced challenges to their democratic institutions. And today we're going to explore how people have successfully protected democracy through peaceful means. Not with weapons or violence, but with courage, creativity, and a commitment to democratic principles. Let's begin in India, 1947. As the country emerged from colonial rule, it faced the enormous challenge of building democratic institutions from scratch. Rather than imposing democracy through force, leaders like B.R. Ambedkar carefully crafted a constitution that protected minority rights, it created independent institutions, and established judicial review. The success of this peaceful transition at what was then the world's largest democracy showed that democratic institutions could be built and maintained through law, civic participation, and careful institutional design. If you fast forward to 1974 in Portugal, the Carnation Revolution ended decades of dictatorship without a shot being fired. How'd they do that? They had military officers, inspired by democracy, joined with the civilian protesters. People placed carnations in the barrels of the soldiers, and the peaceful transition was secured through negotiations, new constitutional frameworks, and broad civic participation. But sometimes protecting democracy requires institutional innovation. Take Finland in the 70s. They created the Committee for Constitutional Law. It's an independent body of legal experts that review laws before they're enacted to ensure they meet constitutional standards. The system has helped Finland maintain one of the world's strongest and safest democracies. More recently, in South Korea, in 2016 and 2017, they showed us the power of peaceful protest. When corruption at the highest levels of government was exposed, millions of citizens held peaceful candlelight vigils. These protests, combined with robust judicial oversight and media investigation, led to the impeachment of President Park Geun-hye through legal constitutional means. If you consider Estonia's digital democracy initiatives, since regaining independence in 1991, they've protected their democracy by making it more transparent and accessible. Their e governance systems allow citizens to vote online, access government services, and verify the accuracy of government records, making it harder for any group to manipulate the democratic process. Now, the Czech Republic's Velvet Revolution of 1989 offers another powerful lesson. It was led by playwright Václav Havel, and citizens used theater, music, and literature to challenge authoritarian rule. They created parallel civic institutions. They created an independent press, educational reforms, and cultural organizations that helped maintain democratic values when even under pressure. But even more recent examples show how technology and civic engagement can work together. Taiwan's Digital Democracy Project, led by Digital Minister Audrey Tang, has created platforms for citizen participation in legislation. Their V-Taiwan system has helped build consensus on controversial issues while preventing the spread of disinformation. In 2018, when Slovakia faced a crisis after the murder of journalist Jan Kuciak, citizens organized the largest peaceful protest since the Velvet Revolution. These demonstrations, combined with investigative journalism and legal action, led to major anti corruption reforms and the resignation of compromised officials. But perhaps the most powerful tools for protecting democracy, if not the most powerful tool, is education. After World War II, West Germany implemented the Politische Bildung, its political education, in schools and public institutions. This program, which continues today, teaches critical thinking, civic responsibility, and the importance of democratic values. Now, the patterns are clear. Democracies are protected through a few means. There's active citizen participation, strong independent institutions, transparent governance, civic education, a free press and independent journalism, peaceful protest and civil resistance, constitutional safeguards, and, if not the most important, cross-partisan cooperation for democratic principles. Now, let's look at our own United States and take a deep breath. Our democracy has built-in protections through systems of checks and balances, but these only work when citizens actively engage with them. Let me share some concrete examples of how Americans have protected democracy throughout our history. During the 70s and the Watergate crisis, it wasn't just journalists who protected democracy. Federal judges, like John Sirica, insisted on the rule of law despite intense political pressure. Civil servants like Attorney General Elliot Richardson chose resignation over compromising democratic principles. And crucially, members of Congress from both parties put country over party to investigate wrongdoing. Today, we have specific systems you can engage with to protect our democracy. The federal courts provide a critical check on constitutional actions. Any citizen can file an amicus brief to inform the court about important issues. Organizations like the American Civil Liberties Union and the League of Women Voters frequently coordinate on these efforts. State attorneys general serve as watchdogs for election integrity and civil rights. You can report voting irregularities or civil rights violations directly to their offices. In 2020, when the false claims of election fraud emerged, these offices investigated and publicly debunked misinformation, protecting electoral integrity. Local election boards need poll workers and observers. In the 2020 election, when these positions faced unprecedented threats, thousands of citizens stepped up to ensure fair elections. You can volunteer through your county clerk's office, organizations like Power the Polls. I myself have been a poll worker in a few elections. It is a rewarding experience, and we need more. The Help America Vote Act created the Election Assistance Commission, which sets voting system guidelines and provides resources for election officials. Citizens can attend their public meetings and comment on proposed election security measures. But perhaps our most powerful tools are at the local level. School boards, city councils, and county commissions all have public comment periods. And I've talked about this in several of my videos now. The local level is absolutely vital to protecting our democracy. Now, these institutions have historically served as democracy's first line of defense. In 2021, the school boards faced unprecedented pressure. Citizen participation in board meetings helped maintain democratic processes. State legislators have public hearings requirements for new laws. You can track legislation through systems like Legiscan and submit testimony on bills affecting voting rights in democratic institutions. Many state legislative websites now offer email alerts when bills you're tracking come up for hearings. Now, independent oversight bodies need public support to function effectively. The U.S. Government of Ethics, Inspectors General, and the Government Accountability Office all have public reporting mechanisms. When you see potential violations of democratic norms, these offices provide secure channels for reporting concerns, which is also why these offices today are being ransacked by the administration that's replacing the people in them, or just closing them entirely. Our free press relies on public support to investigate threats to democracy. Organizations like ProPublica, the Center for Public Integrity, and local investigative newsrooms are crucial watchdogs. Support quality journalism, especially at the local level, if you want to help maintain democratic accountability. The tools for protecting American democracy extend beyond government institutions. Here's what else you can do. You can join nonpartisan election protection efforts through organizations like Common Cause or the Election Protection Coalition. They train volunteers to monitor elections and help voters understand their rights. You can support civic education. We desperately need more civic education. Organizations like iCivics, founded by Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, provide free resources to help people understand democratic processes. The League of Women Voters offers voter education programs in communities worldwide. Now remember, wisdom seekers, American democracy isn't protected by force, but by informed, engaged citizens who understand and use these systems. Every time you attend a local meeting, submit a public comment, volunteer as a poll worker, or support investigative journalists, you're strengthening our democratic foundations. Now, until next time, this is the Analog Oracle, reminding you that the strongest shield for democracy is citizens who know how to use the tools our system provides. Love you all.